I asked him to try to spot. No, because he's out here getting people to the fitness thing. He tried to do shit.
I know, I need to get it done. It's 10 years, teachers. Where we can get it out our cars.
He just to make sure you're downstairs. And he's in church.
Address to her. Right.
I'm trying.
Why you say it's gonna be short?
I don't want to be no special event. This is cute.
Is it?
I ain't but one.
You got a resolution?
It ain't but one
City
thing.
council.
And
I didn't see nothing back there. Maybe I missed it.
You ain't get that special favor yet.
Oh, man. You mean to tell me I can only be at work?
Well, there's a question I got.
I told her I'll be back.
I talked to her
Oh, well,
on my show.
What I gotta do is I gotta get the paper because now she here, I ain't gotta say nothing.
No, there's just a few more questions. I mean, if it has.
You talked to Wendy since St. Yes, I think she's still really good.
I haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks. I let her be around.
Yeah, because I think Saturday when Mama talked to her, she was still there.
Yeah.
She when I went to see her,
Absolutely. You could see. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a problem. Absolutely. Her and Sam have been married for okay? She could talk to Sam about anything.
right.
So it makes a difference. It makes a difference. That's what I told you.
Her whole schedule has changed. Because look, she used to take care of things all day, every day. I know, but that's a lot. That's more than that.
And I ain't sure I can get that, and it's gonna show exactly what I think. So it's like
You gotta send it out. Just like to me. Yeah, you don't speak all the time. Right.
Hey, it's real kill, man. What the?
Whenever you want to. So.
He's just not showing up.
I do not like it. And then they go and say, okay, I can't.
They're going to turn your burn right there.
But they forget.
Hey, beautiful lady.
I ain't had no time to get you no work.
Y'all work at work. Y'all got the money. You got the
She talking about me giving you work. I always give them a sign. I'm gonna do what I did.
I'll give you some signs. You know I still got that chart. I saw it today. I said, question mark. That chart that shows what y'all are doing.
You know who she tried to hear?
What? It was shown. It would have shown
The time is now 4:40 p.m. on Monday, October 14th. I call this Special Affairs Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Al-Alming?
Present.
Ms. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett? You have 6 members present.
Said 6.
6 members present.
We have 6 members present. Are there any requests for agenda changes or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes or additions, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the City Council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance of the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker, and all speakers are subject to the disorderly persons city code subsection. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Good evening, City Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell, and I'm going to speak on these people from out of state. When I'm in the streets, they do U-turns and they be saying, I be hearing what's happening to your ward, sir. I'm sorry about your boy, but next time you have your smartphone ready for your wife can take a picture of me and you talking. They say they're from Pennsylvania, red-headed beard dude, and because he put me up in front of Cookie's taco house, the baddest gang on earth, and Cookie is no longer on earth. Nobody won't address that. But they say that's the gang style though, on the corner of my street. But another thing, I want to explain that this morning, I ain't been home all day. There was a knock on my door about 7:30 this morning, 6:30, and it's from Ward 1. The woman's, I thought it was my pay. I just got up. I woke up with a gag in my leg. And then every time I was watching the football game last night, the dude hit him from the back, the quarterback, and feel like I woke up with, he might have broke his leg from the back. And when you get, I'll never make fun of I said I used to get a kick out of you people jumping on Meg, the oldest dude in the council, but and because a girl had me to want to move a couch in the Ward 1 and so many they living with their family members in the house, talking about be quiet and want to I had to take a couch and put it out on the street, but then I said, take me back to the house. So my pay she said, I know, I'll drop you off at McDonald's or Golden Gates. But then I ain't had no money and stuff. And that's what these people's, because that's what happened last, they had to kick the door in to see about me, and kick the door in and my councilman, and I figured I opened it, I was buck naked. I had just the woman started screaming. She was getting back, she said, how long you gonna be, she'll wait for me. I had to put her, and you know this city gotta be, hey New York, I hope you watching this, because they ain't got no mayor in New York, and they ain't got no councilman in the 3rd Ward, in Ward 1, trucking, and we still ain't got our money, we the people, and all that. But Idi Amin over in Africa eat up his own people and put a bone in his nose. And Jimbo Kenyatta ain't no joke. He's in there trying to break up the riot, and he preaches in the United States like they're scared to pray. Real kill is one of them. Y'all got the man look timid. You ain't never saw Martin Luther King look timid. Somebody asks him to pray, act like you don't want to pray. All that junk up in the mouth. And he said, like I say, have your smartphones, folks. Because I thought they ain't know that Murphy had a funeral. Thought they supposed to come and pick me up like they did Mays and all that junk. All right, stay tuned, America.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Tia Harris.
Did you say Tia Harris?
Oh, okay, sorry. Nope, she's speaking at the next meeting. The next speaker is Monica Villarreal.
Can you repeat that? RL, stop yelling out. Can you repeat that? That's your first warning.
Ruling of the chair.
Thank you, RL.
There's been an appeal. I'm sorry, please hold. There's been appeal of the ruling of the chair. Go ahead with her 1 minute.
You gotta get support for the.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're correct. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, and thank you for your support of that. Can you put her 1 minute on?
I want to begin by saying we are at the beginning of this meeting, and we need to have some latitude and some respect. Last week was said he's not covered by the American with Disabilities Act, and that's just simply not true. He doesn't have to be issued a warning so quickly, so abruptly, and so rudely. Just say to him, Ariel, I need you to calm down. And he responds. He responds to that. But this intent starting out, let him speak. We know that he has a disability. Just ask him to, Ariel, bring yourself together. He feels the energy. We all do. We all do. I think it's unfair because I feel he's being targeted. Let him speak or just warn, Ariel, I need you to calm down. He will respond to that. He doesn't have to get a warning so he can be put out the meeting. Give him some grace. I'm done.
Thank you, Councilwoman Burns. RL attends these meetings every week. RL was actually asked to calm down, and right after I said calm down, he yelled out again. Therefore, his first warning was issued. This is the roll call vote. Yes overturns the chair. No sustains the chair. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Al-Alami? Ms. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
No.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett? The vote is 4 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 3 no. The ruling of the chair stands. RL, that is your first warning. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Villarreal?
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Monica Villarreal, and I'm a Flint resident. Today, I am representing Michigan United. I want to thank you all for the opportunity last week to give a presentation and allow Undue Medical Debt from New York come and meet all of you and to introduce this project to the public for the first time. Since then, there has been, I think, really robust discussion in our community, and I find that to be the most important thing. Our Flint community has never really had discussion about the impact and burden of medical debt, and so this is a new opportunity. And I'm glad that has garnered not only discussion amongst yourselves, but discussion amongst the public. Before you today at the City Council meeting will be the resolution for undue medical debt. And I just want to again highlight some things because the public's listening and this is of importance to the public. Undue medical debt is a project to purchase as much available medical debt as possible with the only goal of forgiving that debt. And in Flint, there's about an estimated $32 million of eligible debt available to be forgiven. Medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy, and bankruptcy is a long, difficult, stressful process. Bankruptcy has massive impact on credit scores, and it goes on a credit report for 7 to 10 years. Down this road for families, it means higher interest rates on car loans, mortgages, personal loans, and we know that communities of color like Flint are disproportionately impacted. Your vote on this can help keep families out of bankruptcy. It's estimated that 10 to 13,000 Flint residents could have their medical debt abolished with this program. In Genesee County, we see a higher than the state average of people with medical debt in collections. And we want to stop this trend to capture those debts before they go to collections, and not just capture them, abolish them, eliminate them for families. To do this, it would relieve stress, anxiety, and fear that residents feel as they struggle to figure out how to pay for unexpected medical costs while trying to regain their health and well-being. Many people delay care because of medical debt, and this program, we can eliminate that barrier, help people get care earlier so that small health issues don't turn into major health crises. We have many communities that have done this. I hope that Flint will join and vote yes on undue medical debt. Thank you so much for your time and your discussion to this matter.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is James Hansley.
Good afternoon, City Council. This is my first time here. I'm born and raised here. I'm a City of Flint resident, 2017 Hoff Street. Marine Corps veteran, current UPS driver, father of 4, happily married 14 years. And I want to bring to you guys, actually this is above and beyond a request from the council, something I have been involved in and created about 4 years ago, September 11th. It's called the Grindstone Billiards Club. That comes from a group of us that have been shooting pool veterans. Got a couple lawyers, doctors, carpenters, guys of all shapes and sizes that have been friends for a long time. And we've affected each other in many different ways, and we decided one day, well, let's try to make this official. And we did. 4 years ago today, we became certified through the state of Michigan and the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs as a nonprofit billiards club. We at the Grindstone have 327 members now, with a forecast of 140 at the end of the 3rd year. So we're doing pretty good. What we focus on at the Grindstone is tradition and values, supporting the tradition and values that come with the game of pool that has been identified over the years. Back in the 1930s, 40s, they were all in tuxedos, very formal gentlemen and whatnot. And then one day I realized that due to a census from the Census Bureau, United States Census Bureau, we are no longer the #1 influence on our children's lives by the time they reach age 10. And so what we did as a group is we come across this mentoring, social networking, zero screen time, chess, checkers, cribbage, all that good stuff. And we do this 3 times a week with the kids. And what we've gained through this, if you guys, can I approach the bench? I brought you guys a copy of our mission statement. The clerk here. The mission of the Grindstone Billiard Club is to establish, encourage, and strengthen core American values by providing mentorship to our youth of every race, color, and creed, and by demonstrating fidelity, honesty, integrity, and faith. We will secure a place for these values in the future of our children. These values will in turn reflect in generations to come in the hearts of our families and community. By encouraging these standards set for us and by us, it will also reflect in our lives as we live them now. And there's like a little pledge there that all 347 of our members have signed. My request from the City Council is one last step to our certification, which will help us with our tax incentives, is this it's a local government approval form that I would need you guys to, sorry. All that does is basically ask you guys permission to exist.
Thank you.
You're
Yep.
welcome.
We got it. If you stay, we'll talk to you after this.
Yes, ma'am.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Is this the only one?
Next speaker is Michelle Young.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay? All righty. So that's one of the things that I would like to talk about. Thank you. The housekeeping. So unfortunately, I'm not able to always come to the meeting. And
I'm sorry. Can you state your name? Sorry.
Michelle Young, 6th Ward. I'm not always able to attend in person. And housekeeping-wise, Davina, I am begging you to please help with these microphones. We cannot hear. The only 2 people I'm always able to hear is councilperson in the 2nd Ward, and I'm always able to hear Councilwoman Candace. Dennis barely ever can hear you. I'm sorry, Councilman Pfeiffer, I'm barely ever able to hear you. Councilwoman Burns, I can hear you sometimes, and I can hear Judy sometimes. Councilman in the 1st Ward never can hear you. Also, body language. Get closer to the mic. If they're not going to turn your mic on, please get closer so we can hear. We come down here to understand your point of views and the issues that you bring at hand. So please make sure we're able to hear you. The other thing, I tried to write to all the council members today, and I went on the website, and everybody's contact information is not on there. So 9th Ward, there is no phone number or email address. 8th Ward, there is no phone number or email address for them. I think everybody else had one. So please, can we get this updated so the public are able to reach their council people? Another suggestion I do have is please, when people take the time out to come and speak to you as their representative of their ward, please do not use your time to respond to critics and criticism and defending yourself. If we have taken the time out to come and talk to you about an issue, and I'm not saying you have to do every issue, but can you not spend your 2-3 minutes time defending yourself about rhetoric? Just leave it alone. Talk to the people about their concerns. Listen to them, engage them. If they have taken the time out, it's important to them. We need to see that you are engaged with us as well as us engage with you. I know you want to defend yourself. I'm just asking you, get above it. Get a thicker skin, get above it. And please, we can't see you sometimes. You're too low. Help us out. Thank you.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Leo McClare.
What was the name?
Leo McClain. So take that.
Madam Clerk, what was the name?
It's your turn to speak.
Audience, Madam Clerk, can you speak into your mic so they can hear you?
Leo McClain.
You said Leo McLean?
He got a hand disability.
Please stop yelling at me. Thank you. I'm trying to get the clerk to say his name. Okay, Madam Clerk, next public speaker. He has declined.
Next speaker is Wilbert Popper Jarrett.
My name is Wilbert Papa Jarrett, Effie's baby boy. Since Fidel, you came in, I'm going to address this question to you. I was going to address the question to the councilman in the First Ward, Leon Alameen. When Ms. Burns was speaking last week about a tree getting cut down, that it was not on city property, it was not land bank property, and Johnny Billings got Leon Alameen for his support in the First Ward for his endorsement in a general election to cut the tree down. Well, you got outraged. You got outraged. Say she violating 42, 18, 21, 19, 110, all them numbers. So I was curious. What was that all about? So come to find out, oh, that Mr. Alameen. Is it true, Mr. Alameen, that you had the city of Flint to cut that tree down at Johnny Billings' house, next door to Johnny Billings' house, for him to endorse you and go on Facebook with your endorsement? That's my question. You can answer. But your council person next to you, she got outraged. You violating number 10, 21, 34, 45, and all that foo-fa-fa. So that made me curious about what was going on with that. So come to find out, I was told that's what it was about. So I don't go by gossip and innuendo. I say, I come up before the public, and I ask you as a gentleman, was that you? Because that's what the Facebook people are saying. That's my first issue. I got 50 seconds. When you're gonna have a public hearing about the Third Ward? We need to have a public hearing for the public to know what's going on with this election in the Third Ward, the appointment in the Third Ward, and it don't take 5 of y'all. It can take 3 of y'all, because Eric Mays used to do it with 3 and 4 people. So I'm appealing to this council. But 3 of y'all has got the guts that want to tell the people what's going on behind the closed door. Have a public hearing meeting so the public in the Third Ward, which I'm one of the property owners in the Third Ward, can have an opportunity to ask questions of what's going on. Because I looked on this agenda, it ain't nothing about the Third Ward.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is A.C. Dumas.
My name is A.C. Dumas and I reside in the Third Ward. Let me tell you how disgusted I am. Just disgusted. I'm a resident of the Third Ward and I'm also a candidate for the Third Ward Flint City Council. I learned today from Clerk Donahue after 2 o'clock that there would be an interview for candidates who are seeking the 3rd Ward seat. Well, this morning I got a call and was told, I hope you do well on the interview. Then I got a text, I hope you do well with the interview. I said, what interview? They said, well, didn't you know you're being interviewed today at a council meeting? I said, no. I said, I was not informed officially. I didn't get a letter. I didn't get an email or nothing. And so I called Miss Donahue, and her staff told me, well, she was up there meeting with the council leadership. The council leadership. And then she called me. I was in my attorney's office, and so I had it on speakerphone when she called me. And she said, indicated to me, well, I asked her why didn't she inform me? Well, the treasurer had to make sure that you didn't owe any money to the city of Flint. I said, well, I was vetted when I, put in my $100 for the council. Well, this is something different. Find out that you owe $300. I said, for what? For property tax, your summer property tax. They not due yet. And then I was told, well, you owe $700 something for a water bill. I said, I don't owe you no water. Well, this is what the treasurer said. Then she said, what about the property on Warner Street? And that's my mother's estate. My mother was born, raised in that house, and that's real dear and near to me. And it's in probate court. Probate court trumps you all. It trumps you. So it's just appealing. I mean, it's just crazy that people in the 10th precinct, our names were left off the ballot. Miss Biggs, all our names were left off the ballot in the 10th precinct.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Gladys Williamson.
My name is Gladys Williamson, and, I try not to get too involved, but I got to tell you, Mr. Dumas and Miss Biggs, that's called pencil whipping. When you're left off the ballot and they do that stuff and you have every right to be on the ballot, that's called pencil whipping. Pencil whipping, and that's illegal. That's illegal. And that's corrupt. That's corrupt. And I think that Flint has so much corruption that you can't even begin to separate the corruption and what areas they are corrupt in. You can't even begin to separate them. It's just corruption after corruption after corruption. And you can sit up there and laugh all you want, Liddell. Laugh all you want, but corruption is corruption. You know all about it, don't you? Yeah. Step down. Seeing as how we can't just vote you out because you pencil whip us. You pencil whip us. You don't count votes. You don't let people on ballots. You just think you're going to decide who's going to get that seat. That seat was already won by Miss Biggs in a recall. but you wouldn't know it. No, the mayor wants to fill that seat. The mayor wants to fill that seat, and yous are going to help him. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't care, because you don't mean nothing to me. And I thank God I got Mr. Jonathan over in the 9th Ward. Somebody that's got some values and some morals and walks with the Lord. I don't know who you walk with. You walk with the mayor. And I won't even begin to say who else you walk with. But I'm still talking about these garbage cans. Now, I tried again Friday to carry that can. I'm not carrying that can. It pushes me. Let alone put my garbage in it and try and pull it. It pushes me. And yous are getting that can back. You're gonna get, when I get somebody to help me put that can in the back of my SUV, and I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to get somebody to pull it up into this chamber. This is where I'm going to take a picture of it, of the ID number, and Mr. Neely's name, and I'm giving it back to him.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Beverly Biggs Levy.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
Let me start off by saying, Liddell Lewis, you're a disgrace to 2nd Ward. That's my ward. You're a disgrace. I watched the video of the last council meeting. You're a hypocrite. You all the above. I mean, you're a disgrace to council. Candace, I thought you would do better. You're a disgrace too. Leon, I thought you would be an independent thinker politically to all y'all. Those politically, not personal, political. Political, you're a disgrace too, man, because you go with everything everybody say. And it's sad, man. I mean, Councilman Pfeiffer, stand on that, man. 50 trees. Liddell, you haven't even been over there to see about the trees that's falling from Forest Park on people's garages, and they have to get it fixed, and insurance won't even cover it because it's the cities. But you care about everything else. You care about Sarvis Park and your $25,000. Nearly calling it mid-city. Northside is mid-city now. Nickel bag, what's going on with that? I want to know what that is. But let me say this, right? Nearly is a POS, city council, Priestley, you're a POS too. You're a racist also. I'm going to call you out as a racist. But I'm also going to call John Groff out, since we're here together, a racist. Because I want you to know that I'm not a punk, bruh, and I say it to your face. I see you as George Zimmerman. I see you as George Zimmerman.
Please pause the time. Mr. Woodson, direct your comments to us and not toward other audience members.
I got you.
Continue.
As much as I dislike Candace, Liddell, I can't stand y'all as council people. But ain't no way I would team up with a racist who called a mayor in New Jersey a black nigger bitch. Ain't no damn way. I see you as a plantation owner. I see you as the blacks that working with you as house Negroes. I could sit up here and call Eva Priestley and Alan Griggs, Kincaid, all them racist. We pick and choose who it is that we want to call racist and who we don't want to deal with. Fuck John Groff.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Reverend Freelon Threlkeld.
Come on. My name is Reverend Freelon Threlkell Jr., 214 East Pulaski Street, 48505. I've been a resident of Flint since 1953 in the year of the tornado in Beecher District. I've seen some interesting things in Flint in the past years. I come to you, my council persons. My text is taxation without representation. That's the problem with the council. I understand by the charter you are elected by the citizens of Flint to represent us in our endeavors to move Flint forward. On my wrist, Council Eric Mays. Point of order. It's sad, and it's been said, how you all, elected officials, take care of our business to move us forward. And I hear our mayor all the time. He comes behind me on Saturday mornings talking about certain council persons helping him to move the city forward. Mays has been gone for a little while. The city was blaming, and you all were blaming Mays for not having the city to move forward. Mays gone. Quincy Murphy, he's gone. But we're still here having problems. When I look at the charter, the ombudsman was placed in the charter to eliminate problems that a citizen can come and give their complaint and they can get some representation. We pay taxes, but we don't get what we pay for. But one thing about it, election time is coming. And I'm going to exercise my vote. But I come to tell you, be careful.
Thank you.
Be
Next
careful.
public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Sean Hart.
Good evening. I was here a few months ago letting you guys know who I was, what I do, and I was asked to come back. And I'm here, and so I wrote it down so that hopefully I don't miss anything. So I'm the executive director of Involved Dad, where we strengthen families through fatherhood engagement, right? Let me say this. I don't need to go from writing. I travel the country. I am a leading authority when it comes to fatherhood. I don't bother anybody. I do the work. Agencies in this community, they call me to train their staff. I work with some of the schools and some of the people. I was here a few months ago letting you know that one of the programs that we have, every program that I created because there's a need in this community. I started out in Cafe Rama, just created a space for men just to come and talk. It grew, was helping fathers get reconnected with their children. But I knew it was the responsibility of me as a fatherhood agency not to be selfish and allow and not consider mom that when dad do reappear, that he doesn't have the resources, that he doesn't further cause harm. And so what we did as an agency is started domestic violence programs, not because I wanted to, but because that's what the families needed. And so I came here to ask you guys to support this effort. It's people from this community, they can't afford it. And I have a staff where we have professional people that will provide this service. But what happens is that some of them we have to turn away because we have to have the resources to support it. We started a supervised visitation center. I don't make money off of that thing. It's just enough to provide the service to the families in this community. They can't afford it. So we go out and we raise money. We try to get grants. I do speaking. I use some of my own bread to support it, right? So I'm not tripping. My thing is you guys asked me to come back to talk about it. I was here before. And I'm not tripping. I don't get into the political stuff. I just do the work. If it doesn't get funded, I promise you I'm not tripping. I'm not. We'll figure it out, right? But I'm just here to saying it again. We need the resources to support the people that's in this community. I'm not even from here. I'm from New Jersey, but I live here now, and I'm trying to help the people that's in this community. So that's my time. You guys can contact me if you have any more questions.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The last speaker for this meeting is James Moore.
Say James, yeah, all right. Hopefully so y'all can hear me tonight. James Moore, 2nd Ward. I just want to say thank you to Quincy for the work that he did. I worked with him on Garfield, cleaning up that school. He was a field general out there in the field getting it done, and it got done that day. I want to say thank you to A.C. Dumas for pointing out the information that we all needed to hear, and hopefully so sometime today we can get it resolved. And then I want to say thank you to this council and to the residents that come out here, because there are a lot of people running for that 3rd Ward seat. Well, I just want you to know a little something about that council up there. You got to be here to the end of the meeting to see what they look like fighting their sleep in the midst of arguing up there. It's a lot. Not only that, they die on this council. So you got to make sure you really want to be up here, So it's a lot of work that it takes, and I've heard a lot of people say the truth, and I heard a lot of them I didn't really agree with if they said the truth. But the fact of the matter, that 3rd Ward seat is worth it, so whoever get it, God bless them.
Thank you. That concludes public speaking. It is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers, only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who would like the floor during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. To my 6th Ward resident, Michelle, thank you for not giving me a task because I got 100 million of them. The mics, they've been having technical problems. And so when you text me or other residents do, I try to let you know I'll make the clerk aware. So I don't know if it's my mic just not working, or they need to turn it up. I don't do the technical. Mr. Dumas, I'm very troubled about the 3rd Ward, who all were notified. I don't believe in disenfranchising voters nor candidates, and that's a problem for me. And for you to not be alerted officially, because it is our clerk's job to notify all candidates officially. You should not be notified because someone said to someone else, and I started making calls, and everyone was not officially notified. That is a problem. That's a serious problem for me. Papa Jared, we can do two for me. It takes 2 to call a meeting. We just can't take any action. We can do that and see who shows up. That was one of Mays' tactics that he used, and I've used it before. And we are a split council now, and we know that this election is important. And I'm watching how things are being moved, and I have some problems. The county clerk and the city clerk are not on the same page. I was told they're using 2 different maps. How are we using 2 different maps? That is a problem. And so when we look at how these races are going, these elections, it's too many stumbling blocks and things that are happening and irregularities. Precinct 10 represents 3, 4, and 5, and Precinct 10 for the 3rd Ward was not included. We have got some issues that we do have to take care of. And the trees is off the agenda. It's not on there anymore, Papa Jared. It's not on here.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank all of the residents for coming out. Thank you for your input, your concerns, your issues. I would like to thank Michelle Young. Thank you for your housekeeping tips. Your points are well taken. I hope you can hear me. Sometimes I feel like I don't even need the mic, but I always turn my mic on to speak, and I try to bring my mic closer to my mouth. Pastor Monica with undue medical debt. I'm interested when we get to that portion of the agenda. I do have some questions. I was not here on Wednesday, so and I have some concerns. So I'll look forward to that when we get to it. Mr. A.C. Dumas, thank you for bringing up your issue to the floor. And I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to be real. I am not satisfied with what's going on in our clerk's office. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Things are not being handled efficiently. And it's a big disappointment. And I just had to say that. Ms. Gladys, yes, those garbage cans are too big. And some of our seniors are having issues getting those garbage cans to the curb. I'm having issues. That was not well thought of, and guess what? I didn't even vote for that mess.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk. I mean, not public speaker, I'm sorry. Anybody else want the floor? Council response.
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. Ms. Gladys, the corruption is deeper than you can ever imagine. Yeah, you might wonder why after the 3rd Ward councilman, 3 days after his funeral, they're trying to hurry up and get somebody in there. You may wonder why there wasn't proper notification, because they are trying to ram it through, because there is a vote next week to give away Oak Park. And it is astounding how fast that they are looking to put someone in that 3rd Ward seat to secure the sale of that park. Wow. So while you're over here dancing about something else, they're over here doing something else. So you know, it's quite hilarious that I actually met with folks that asked me today, what will it take for a yes vote for me to sell that park? They met with me today. I won't say who it was. They were not affiliated with the city. But they asked me, what would it take to get me a yes vote? I hear that. I hear.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Let's pause the time. Okay, we can't have the audience yelling out. Okay, we can't have the audience yelling out. Everybody just remain calm. All right, finish. Go ahead, Dennis. Can we please stop yelling out?
10 seconds.
Can we put 10 seconds back on the clock for Councilman Pfeiffer? Thank you. He yelled out about a lawnmower.
While, I'm getting called racist by the mayor for not supporting the tree cutting down or asking more questions, they're asking me to sell out a historic neighborhood in a minority community. It ain't gonna happen on my watch.
Are you done? All right. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak, Councilwoman in the second ward?
Thank you. And so to my colleague in the 8th ward, what is happening under your watch is you calling people monkeys. And when you calling people monkeys, you're not apologizing.
Hold on,
for
pause
doing
our
so.
time, pause our time, pause our time. Listen, we've already had audience response. We've already had audience response. The audience needs to stop yelling out. Everybody has heard me ask y'all to stop yelling out.
Thank you. So my colleague in the 8th ward don't want to be called racist. It's bigger than just the selling of a decommissioned park. It's all about you making sure you have decorum with every single member of the African American community. So when you called me a monkey, you didn't have any feelings, nor have you apologized to this day. When you brought your brother up here to jump at me and to threaten and intimidate me, you have yet to apologize for that. When you physically jumped at me, as we smile, but again, I'm part of the African American community, you had nothing to say either. And further,
pause the time. Continue.
Thank you. So let's not pick and choose, or in the words of my late colleague, cherry pick what you want to enforce and what you want to support. If you are against the park, that's fine, but be against calling your colleagues monkey or against not apologizing for doing so. And let's stop selling lies to the public. We have 30 days to fill that seat, and the clock is ticking the day after someone passes away. So we don't have all day to figure this out. We must, as my colleague in the 3rd ward always said, and when you said that he's just a puppet with a hand up his ass, when you made that comment towards him, we're just trying to get done the business of this city.
All right, so this is what's going to happen, because I've asked several times. And so as I'm identifying people that are yelling out, you're going to get your warnings. Go ahead.
So, to Mr. Woodson, you are exactly correct. We do pick and choose. We do pick and choose who we protect and defend. And so when that councilman said what he said, you all decided not to defend me, but that's fine. But I stand with you, because I don't stand with people that call people nigger bitches. I don't. And so we need to make sure that when we stand up for the African American community, that we stand 10 toes down and all the way tall. Thank you, Mr. Moore, for your kind words about my colleague. He put in the work. He did the work to his last breath. So thank you.
All right, is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 1st ward.
I would just like to say thank you to the residents for engaging with us.
You just have to speak closer into your microphone.
For engaging with us. And thank you, Ms. Young, for your comments. That was well taken, and I agree. Mr. Jarrett, if there's anything you would like to discuss with me, like you said, respectfully, we can talk after this about anything on Facebook or whatever. I don't really get caught up on Facebook and those type of things. We can have a conversation, and we can just, about anything. So thank you.
Councilman Alameen, we cannot hear you.
I'm through.
Point of order.
Stop. Okay. Hold up. Mr. Jarrett, you are correct. Please stop yelling out. Mr. Alameen, please address me. Thank you.
Basically what I'm saying.
Hey.
Is if any resident has anything they would like to have a discussion with me about, I'm more than willing to have a conversation with you, a real grown-up conversation. I don't get into all that craziness and that back and forth. If you really want to talk to me about anything, I'm accessible. You can get my number, or you can catch me up here in council, and I'll address any concern or thing, Facebook stuff. I don't get caught up in that. I'm not with all that back and forth. I'm about handling the business, kind of like what we was doing today over in the first ward with Elga, when we was cutting down all those trees, and we was doing some work also at another location. So we've been doing this tree stuff for a minute. So if you'd like to have a conversation, anyone, please feel free to approach me, and I'll give you my number, and we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a request from the clerk, which I am going to grant. Madam Clerk, go ahead. You do have 2 minutes.
I just wanted to go against the grain and respond, because normally I do not get to respond to the comments that people are making. I just wanted to let it be known that with regard to the third ward interviews that were scheduled for today, following the process that we have done so far for these appointments with this redistricting and all these issues, there wouldn't have been any candidates that qualified today, but I had asked the leadership, which is the process, to continue with the interviews
Point of
and
order.
to
Could you please pause the time?
A
Yes.
request for information.
Yes. What's the
Do you,
request?
Madam Chair, who is the leadership and where did that title come from?
council leadership is the the president and vice president. It's whoever they are. That's who when we have issues like this is who. We don't have a council meeting about it. The office of the council member was vacated the day after Mr. Murphy passed. So yes, 30 days. Mr. Murphy was not recalled. The recall was on the ballot.
Wait, pause the time. Can we please stop yelling out?
Madam Chair, point of order.
No. What's your point?
The point is that you gave him this warning of stop yelling out several times. He needs a warning.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Petition slips do not
Please pause the time. What's your point?
I have said to you in these chambers, and this council just passed a new disorderly. Ms. Gladys was just threatened to be hit and was just told, shut up, bitch. You need to give a warning. You heard that. You heard it.
I think that
Jerry heard, and you heard it.
I
Yes.
think that we
Yes.
need to continue
Yes.
because I know what my ears hurt. Let's go. Continue.
Petition slips do not recall someone. If you look at the ballot, it said recall. Mr. Murphy passed away. He was never recalled. You cannot recall someone that is not in office. As far as maps go, we do not use maps for petitions. That's the county clerk, whatever he's talking about. We never used maps. We used the address list to determine who is, and so that precinct 10 and that gentleman that Mr. Dumas is talking about, which I told him, that person lived in the old 4th Ward. They were not qualified to vote. Now, if they signed the petition slips, we did not approve those petition slips. That's a problem with the county clerk, not the city clerk. That's the county clerk that approved that signature. The city clerk did not. So that's an issue you have with the county clerk. We do not use maps for that. I would like to continue if that's okay.
Go ahead.
As far as the notifications go for today, I was calling everyone because I send the notice to the treasurer like I do every time. I don't give anybody any more time to address those concerns. And when I did that, every candidate that had applied did not qualify because every candidate owed the city. And so there wouldn't have been any interviews. But I asked the leadership to allow the interviews to continue and to postpone the appointment until people could address with the treasurer's office. I have no reason to do anything or anything. So with the treasurer said you owe money, not me. And yes, I did call you today to let you know because that's when I found out today. The interviews were on the agenda. I'm sure that you saw the agenda and you knew the interviews were today. And I did call you as soon as I found out that no one could do it, and that's what I told you today. So that's what I just wanted to say, that Precinct 10 individuals, the people that qualified and were in the old 3rd Ward did get ballots with the recall election on it. So everybody didn't get it because everyone didn't live in the old 3rd Ward. The only people that qualified to vote in this election would be people whose address is in the old 3rd Ward. So that's what I have to say to that.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. And so, seeing as how no one else wants to speak
Madam
during
Chair.
council. Oh, you got it? All right.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks all for being here this evening. I do want to make it known that I am willing and wanting to hear from the residents of the city of Flint, in that I do understand that the city website does not currently and accurately provide all the information for myself in particular. But I will, and I'll even give here now. I don't have a problem providing my cell phone number for those who would want to reach towards me via telephone. 810-219-2254. Again, for Councilman Jonathan Jarrett, 810-219-2254. 810-219-2254. Now, I'm not able to answer every call when it's ringing, but I do make a diligent effort, and I would even say a commitment to follow up and return the call. So I don't want it to be thought that it's at my request that the information is not provided as to how to contact me. Some would be able to legitimately say, no, that's not it at all. But I do want to provide that way for you to reach towards me if you have need of me, whether you be a 9th Ward resident. But I recognize that my seat or my position to serve, when I cast a vote, it is in representative of those in the 9th Ward, but it impacts the entire city. So thank you.
All right, seeing as how that is the last person to be able to speak during council response, I will now take my time. I see Judy is talking to the vet who came up here and talked about Grindstone Billiards. I definitely want to learn more information. I know that there was some information he did leave with you, Madam Clerk, some stuff he might need from the city. So if you could share that out with all of council, that would be greatly appreciated. It sounds like they're doing some amazing work, and so we would all love to hear more about the work that they're doing. As far as the microphones, I just urge all of my colleagues to speak directly into your microphone, get up close on your microphone. I know often people are always saying, well, why do I talk so closely into my microphone? This is why, so that you can hear what I am saying. Third, as far as the garbage services, I think we said before that there is a service offered to those who cannot wheel their garbage cans, or who, for whatever the reason, they are elderly or maybe disabled, and so they need some assistance with the garbage can. Priority will help you with that. You give them a call. There are a couple of questions that you will have to answer, but they will assist you with helping you get that garbage can to the end of the curb, so long as it is already outside of your home. Mr. Moore, thank you for your kind words about our colleague. He will be dearly, dearly missed. So we do appreciate when the community comes and they tell the truth about him and his legacy. So thank you very much. And when we talk about appointing someone today, as my colleague in the 2nd Ward pointed out, I think my colleague in the 8th Ward is just slightly mistaken. Hopefully it's not purposely being deceitful, but the same thing when we unfortunately lost our colleague in the 1st Ward. The process is the exact same with the exact same time frame. Actually took longer for our colleague in the 1st Ward, simply because we were trying to be respectful of families and funeral arrangements. But the charter says what the charter says, and Mr. Murphy, who was on the charter commission to help come up with this, would appreciate us respecting it. Now, that closes out council comments. Council response, I will now entertain a motion about the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
I would like to put a motion on the floor to send the consent agenda to council.
There is a motion on the floor to send the consent agenda to council. Is there support? It's been moved and properly supported. Are there any separations? There is a separation of the one resolution that we have, which is Resolution 240404-T, which is the reallocation of ARPA funds, North Flint Food Co-op, and because that is the only item on the agenda, that is complete separation of the agenda. So moving on to Resolution 2404-T, reallocation of ARPA funds, North Flint Food Co-op. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the second ward.
Do we have anyone here from the food market?
No one here to discuss.
I move that we leave this in special affairs.
There's been a motion to leave this here in special affairs. Is there support? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't see you. Pastor Thurkill, did you want to? Please, Pastor Thurkill. RL? Nope.
Point of order.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't see him.
Not that I don't want to hear him speak.
I didn't see him.
But there's been a motion and a.
Right,
then
he.
they got to pull their.
Can you pull your motion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the second ward?
I would like to withdraw my motion.
Okay, go ahead.
To the.
Hold on, what's your point?
We got to have a motion on the floor to have discussion, so I will make a motion to send it to council so we can have discussion.
That's very true. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to send this to council. Is there support? It's been moved and properly supported by the councilman in the first ward. Is there anyone who would like the floor?
Yes.
Councilman in the 8th ward.
Through you to Mr. Threlkel, you have the floor.
Thank you. On behalf of the North Flint Food Market, presently we are trying to get this market open, the food market. I thought that everything was moving on the up and up because the North Flint reinvestment people were down here requesting ARP money. We've been doing this for 2.5 years now, asking for ARP money so that we can get open. Our last meeting for the membership was that we needed, the project manager stated that we needed $1.4 million to open the store. Everything else is paid for. And we also wanted to use the gala community room to raise money. But I was against.
Please pause the time. All right, go ahead.
I was against using the gala room to raise money, but to reach out to other sources to get money, because this council turned us down for $600,000, turned us down for $300,000. And then I understand the project manager came down here to get money for the gala room. But we want this store open. I can feel the tension from the mayor's office that they don't want this store open for some reason. This is a legitimate project on the north end of Flint. And I've been a member of it about 10.5 years now. I talk about this store because it's needed. And I don't know why the delays that we're getting. We play, I think Second Ward lady mentioned last time I was here that she got her monies rescinded back, and she was right. I didn't know it at that time. So we got a lot of business to take care of. We want to get the store open. That's what I want. I started out 10 years ago, and I wanted to see this store open. Leon is in your district, but you're busy talking to. But anyway, the store, we want it open. The membership wants it open. It's more of us as members than the council or the project manager.
Thank you.
We want the store. Matter of fact, I own the store. I'm part owner of the store. If I'm part owner of something, I have a voice. And that's why when somebody mentioned it, yes, I want the store open. And I don't know why. I came down here some years, Miss Priestley just tore us apart, talking about our popcorn popper costs too much money. But my good friend over here, they granted his resolution to pave Miller Road from Ballinger Highway up to the Michigan School of Deaf. So there is a disparity here. And I think it's coming from the mayor's office.
No.
Some of you haven't, like I said.
Thank you. He's
All right.
actually reclaiming his time. Thank you.
I will say that the last time that they came and presented before us, there were several of us on the council that requested how else they were going to obtain funding, and they said that they were going to get letters from Mott Foundation or whoever that was going to help backstop that dollars, and that was well over a month ago, and we haven't received.
And you haven't heard.
We haven't heard or received anything. So at this point, I don't think we're ready to move on it until we
get that
some kind of
information.
information.
Well,
So,
all right. We're going to stir it up.
I'll yield the floor to anybody else that wants to discuss, but I'm certainly not ready to move on it until we get the documents that we requested. So
that's fair
thank
enough.
you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman in the second ward.
All right.
Thank you. And I just want to state, just for clarity's sake, Pastor Thurlkell, this resolution came down from administration. So when you say administration is stopping it, this came down from the mayor's office. So I want you to be clear as you take your seat. For you all to receive this $300,000, this came down from the mayor's office. Okay. So without you being out of order, I will respond to that. You just heard my colleague in the 8th ward say he's not ready to cut your check. First ward, you are absolutely correct. So let's stop talking out of order. What we do know is that the councilman in the 1st ward is ready to vote for it. The council person in the 2nd ward is ready to vote for it. Our departed councilman in the 3rd ward was pushing and ready to vote for it. So yeah, you do have support. You have two members up here, Councilman Jarrett and also Winfrey Carter. They were advised that they could rescind their membership so they can give you the vote to cut the check.
5 votes. Cut the check.
They were advised that they can rescind their membership so they can cut the check. The refund of $250, of $500 total could get you your $300,000. So let's not say cut the check. Let's go ahead and address the individuals that are in a position to do so. I see a lot of the time you come down on many of us, we're ready to support the food market in our ward. So we have 2 colleagues that are in a position to rescind their membership so they can vote. They were told last meeting that they could get in a position so they can vote. So Mr. Pfeiffer, what he's saying, it totally doesn't matter because we all speak in favor of it. And if you're in favor of something, you do that vote to cut that check. And so you have 5 votes. However, it's all about this council having the political will to do what's necessary in order to get the check cut. Again, the 2nd ward is in full support. The majority of us stated that we are in full support. So we have more than 5 people that's in full support, but it's all about, are they willing to do what's necessary so we can get their vote, so we can move forward, with this food market. I mean, it's that simple. We can try to miss the fight if we want to, but it's real simple. If you want this to go forward, rescind your membership in the market, so therefore you don't have to abstain and there will not be a conflict of interest. You can vote yes. The North Flint Food Market, which you have been a member for 10 years, will be up and running so we can go and we can do something better than amazing for the North Side. We deserve it. They have a gala center. We don't even have really a banquet center over there. We don't have a place of that caliber owned by the community. And we stated before, this is what neighborhood building looks like. Your neighborhood is based off on what your level of schools. They done redid Brownell Homes, so our schools are leveling up over there. And you have a school right across the street from the supermarket. Rebuilding homes and remediating for blight. Councilman in the 1st ward is over there doing it. They had a big cleanup on the fence line of Pearson Road, cleaning all that up. You can ride past there and see that's work in action per the councilman. So they're cleaning up the areas, they're building schools, they're erecting a grocery store. This is the comeback of the first ward. So Mr. Thurlkill was right. We did vote for us to fix that pipeline on Miller Road. We voted for something good to happen in the 8th Ward. Now we would like that reciprocated over here on the north side so we can do something good too again. If we're not gonna...
Well, I'm sorry, pause the time. What's your point?
There's all kinds of communication going on over here. Could you please bring that on?
I'm happy you can hear, Councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Go ahead.
We can't talk about not selling the park in a minority community when we don't want to open a grocery store in a minority community. You can keep the park if we can eat and it'll supply jobs and it'll supply an area that's known as a food desert. Let's not pick and choose. If you're for black people, let's be for black people all the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion on a motion
Madam Chair.
not even a vote on? Go ahead. I don't know why we discussed it.
Thank you. So,
He gone. And I think he's the representative for it.
I was not advised by anyone who I seeked advice from with regard to the rescinding of my vote. Let it be heard from me. I will not rescind my membership in this body. I will not do it. Not for the sake of a vote. I'm not doing it. It means too much to me personally and my family for me to be a part of this North Flint Food Mart. I'm not rescinding my vote. If there is not enough merit in the project itself, then it's not enough merit.
Request for information.
Please pause his time. What is your request?
Are you aware that you could definitely rescind your vote, and when it's back and moving, you can become a member again at any time?
And does no one see the dirtiness of that? That's dirty. I'm not going to rescind my position to vote to take it back and get the same benefits as if I were in place at the beginning. That's not ethical in my opinion. That is not ethical in my opinion. That said, one of the things that I too was under the impression from the last time we were together, I understood there was the 1.1 or $1.4 million shortfall, the gap. So the concern I would have with this either way is us providing, the city of Flint providing $300,000 to this project. I want it to be the last $300,000 that push you over the line, not a $300,000 that we allocate and then there's still a gap, and then come next year, we're trying to figure out how we're going to do with this $300,000 that we allocated, and now it might get returned because it hasn't been used. So I just think there are ways to go about it where, and this is maybe the third time today I said this, to an extent, I'm not going to say to an extent, this market is more than just a concept of a plan, right? So it's a little bit more to it than a concept, but we have to make sure, or I want to make sure from this seat, I understand the concept, I understand the plan, I understand who's going to execute it, how they're executing, and at what stage they're in their execution to where they are being successful. Again, you heard me say it earlier. I'm not voting just for the 9th Ward. I take into consideration the fact that my vote impacts everybody in the city of Flint. The sleep I have lost since May has not been because of any one of the votes I've cast. I'm very interested still in being a member, and I am interested in doing what I can from this seat, short of a vote, to try to help move this project along. It won't be with a vote, though. I can't do that. It's not. For me, I have and would have an issue morally at this point especially. So that said, I yield the rest of this time.
All right, thank you for that. Is there anybody else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Councilman in the first ward.
I just would like to make it clear that I'm in full support of the grocery store and ready to move forward with it. So just wanted to let that be known to the pastor and everyone. It is several of us trying to move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
And I certainly agree with the councilman in the 9th Ward. I will not rescind my membership. It's funny. So you rescind your membership and you get your money back. Well, I don't think that's doable. I don't think that you can rescind your membership and get your money back, because if I get my money back, everybody in the city who got memberships would probably want their money back, right? So it doesn't sound right to me. And I'm sure Pastor Flynn not giving everybody in the city their money back, right? This is an investment, okay, to be members of that co-op. And no, I am not going to rescind my membership. It does sound unethical to rescind your membership so that you can vote, and then after the vote, you can go back into a membership. No. So I will continue to abstain my vote, but that doesn't say that I'm not in support of the North Flint food market. I think it's a great idea.
Please pause the time. Ms. Gladys, please stop yelling out. Thank you. Please start the time.
I think it's a great idea, and that's why I put my money into the investment. Because I can't say that I support the residents on the north end knowing that there's a food desert, okay? I can't say I support them and not have become a member of that co-op. So no, I will not rescind my membership. And the council person in the 2nd Ward, she can do all the ranting and raving she want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. I think everyone has pretty much stated what they said, and this isn't going anywhere. So I'd like to make a motion to send this back to Finance Committee.
There's a motion on the floor from the 6th Ward Councilwoman to send this back to the Finance Committee. Is there support?
Madam Chair, I'll support.
It's been supported by the 5th Ward Councilwoman. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
No.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
Mr. Alamin.
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 2 no. That resolution has been sent back to Finance Committee. That was the final resolution on our agenda. The time is 6:02 p.m. There we go. There is a motion to adjourn, and it's been properly supported by the motion to adjourn was made by the councilman in the 8th Ward, properly supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. It is now 6:02 p.m. I call the meeting of the Special Affairs Committee to adjourn. It's adjourned. I do want to remind everyone that you need to fill out the speaker slips before we start the next meeting. Speaker slips are located in the back.
If you don't feed me, grab to heaven.
Okay. Girl.
The Flint City Council meeting will be starting in approximately 5 minutes. The Flint City Council meeting will be starting in approximately 5 minutes. Hey, Madam Clerk, give us 2 more minutes, please. Go. All right. The time is now 6:29 p.m., October 14, 2024, and the Flint City Council meeting is now being called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett? Present. We have 8 members present.
We have 8 members present. So now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilwoman Burns, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, Madam President, I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So now it's time for the prayer of the blessing. But before we do the prayer of the blessing, we would like to acknowledge anyone that may have transitioned.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I really would like to acknowledge our colleague and friend, Mr. Quincy Murphy.
Oh, yeah, you just say it again.
Yes, I'd really like to acknowledge our friend and colleague, Quincy Murphy.
All right, thank you. All right. So, anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to have a moment of silence for Mr. Josiah Curry.
You said Mr. Josiah Curry?
Josiah Curry, yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Like a moment of silence for Mr. Paul Ross.
Say it one more time.
Paul Ross.
All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing that there is no one else, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Thomas R. Stokes. Mr. Thomas R. Stokes, affectionately known as Kilowatt, a part of the Third World Van Club. So we will go ahead and have a moment of silence, starting now. All right, thank you. All right, so now it is time for the prayer or the blessing. Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, would you please lead us in the prayer or the blessing?
No, I will not.
All right, she said no, she will not. We will go ahead and ask Councilwoman Mashat, would you please lead us in the prayer or the blessing?
If all minds are clear, Heavenly Father God, we come to you just first and foremost, thanking you for allowing us to all live to see another day. Thank you for keeping us, Lord God. We ask that you keep us as we go to our respective journeys from here and beyond, Lord God. We thank you that tonight, Lord God, that you will be with us as we make an important decision for our city. We thank you for that, the life of our colleague, Quincy Murphy. We thank you for the work that he has done in our city, Lord God. We ask that as we seek to appoint someone in his position, Lord God, that they have the same heart and mind for the city that he had. Lord God, we thank you for a calm, peaceful meeting. We thank you for our city. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. So now it's time for the reading of the Disorderly Person City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly person, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from meetings. So now it is time for requests for agenda changes or additions. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Any requests for agenda changes? Okay. So seeing, oh, did you say something? Did I hear you? Did I hear you? Oh, okay. So in the back corner. Pardon me. In the back corner.
Point, officer.
In the back corner.
Now see, this is what I was saying. Y'all letting this stuff slide, and somebody gonna get hurt up in here. Somebody gonna get hurt. Y'all letting this slide.
Council will remain at ease.
You got one officer.
It was set up like this. It was set up like this.
You got one officer up here and 9 other family members, and you got a mess. One officer up in council. They've been threatening to fuck bitches up, everything else.
All right. So now that the disturbance. All right. So.
Chair, you are too old.
Madam Chair.
Is she not going to bring it?
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Are you going to?
Excuse me, could we please have audience members please step away from the dais, please? They're in the streets. I guess they're on their way. So could you please step away from the dais? The time is now 6:45, and the Flint City Council meeting is adjourned. Can you give me a ride home?
Yeah, let's go, nigga. I gotta grab my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are adjourned. You see Carol steady filming us. These people are crazy.
Right.
Excuse me, the council meeting has been adjourned. So I'm going to need the public to empty the chambers. Council meeting has been adjourned.
Yep.